Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. This is Canadian Retro. I've got my game room tour here that I'm going to put together for you guys. This is basically just putting this together because this might be the last time we really get to see the retro dungeon here. So this might be sort of the last chance to really show this to you guys. Put a lot of effort and thought and planning into my game room because it's in such a small space. I've had to make a few adjustments to it to really maximize how I went about doing this. So thought I'd give you some pointers, some hints, some tips, some things that I did, ways of organizing, or whatever you'd like to call it as we're going along here, just so you can kind of see how I set up my game room in this small space. So that being said, I'm gonna get started on this right now. There's probably gonna be a few cuts here and there, but I'll try to keep it so you can kind of get a good overview of what's really down here in the game room. Alright, so as you're walking into the game room here, this would be like the general sort of view that you would have. There's a little more things on that side of the wall over there, but to my immediate left here is actually my little workstation that I've got set up just for cleaning games and systems and whatnot. You can see like the JFJs there, and then a whole bunch of different cleaning supplies because I was just cleaning something recently. As you look down, you can see some game guides basically there, and then looking down further is just some gear and equipment I use for cleaning and repairing things. So that's really this area here. Now what I've done, because this basement's so small and it's kind of hard to show, but what I've done is it's actually a thing where you can just close these two doors here, and then that is kind of hidden in behind there. So as you're coming into the basement, if that's a mess from cleaning games, you wouldn't have to sit there and kind of have to look at that. So yeah, that's that space right there, really set up. I just put like an IKEA table there, but I can close it with the chair in there and everything, and worked out really nicely. So really small little like nook kind of area, but definitely a good idea if you have a small game room and you get a chance to lay things out. When we did this basement, this was like a blank slate, so that was something that I had in mind. And there's actually another one that's very similar to this beside me. It's my wife's crafting area, and it's basically the same thing. It has the double doors too as well to enclose that in. So that was kind of that idea. At the back of my game room, and you don't really get to see these too often unless you saw some of my earlier videos, are a couple of shelves here that are pretty unique in their design actually. If you take a really close look, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it with the lighting, but right here there is a bracket for it, or a whatever you call it, like a brace for it, or I can't remember what the name of those are right now, but yeah, so these shelves are kind of unique in a way because both of these actually open up. They're on caster wheels on the bottom of them, just one caster wheel on the one corner, and you can see on the back of this one I have a whole bunch of different, I know it's kind of dark just because of the lighting here, but there's a whole bunch of different like controllers and everything like that on the back side of that. And then I can roll this out and open it up, and they both kind of do that. Like here's the other one. You can open this one up and you can see there's like a bar freezer down there or whatever. This was done just due to basically space limitations that I had down here. Like behind this, well, this one here is the hot water tank, which is like up on the wall because it's tankless, but it's up on the wall there. So I didn't want that in the back of my game room, so I kind of devised this sort of plan when I did this. And then this was just like an opening here where you could kind of put things. I was originally going to put like something like a little mini bar there or whatever, but never really came to fruition, so I just kind of like left that as is. But on this wall here, well actually there's a shelf above those shelves. You can see a lot of different items. There's Steel Battalion controller, which I still don't have the pedals for, and you can see like a whole bunch of different like boxed items there. Japanese Saturn, that's pretty cool. Just like little knickknacks and miscellaneous sort of things. A few sealed GameCube games found in a thrift shop, and then all along here, so lots of different sort of items. You can kind of see a little bit stacked though because of space limitations kind of thing. These game shelves I have here, I have a video if you haven't seen that before. All these game shelves that are really custom made. I just used like 2x2s and made game shelves down here. So when you take some of the games out, see if I can do this, or fairly like tight in there, but I'll take a few out so you can see it. They're just like right up, pretty much like against the wall. I don't know if you're not gonna be able to see that, it's too dark in there, but yeah, you can basically just see that they're right up against the wall, so they're not like regular shelving kind of units like these ones I showed you before, which means that you're saving that depth. They're only basically, you know, DVD sized deep, which is kind of nice. So at the top of that though, I have my GameCube collection, and I'm going to go through these collections as I'm boxing them up because we're going to be moving. So I'll go through these collections and show you everything I have in like a little further detail kind of thing. But next level was Wii and Wii U. And you can see my Extra Life pendant there, which I'm super pumped about. Got that last year for Extra Life, and I'm going to be doing that again on November the 4th and 5th of this year, so pretty cool right there. And then my Xbox collection, I'm a Xbox fan, so I've got a decently sizable collection of it. Tried to keep it down just to like quality kind of games though, and I've purged Xbox games before. You can see a few of those pop heads, or whatever they're called, pop figurines. All right. And then you've got Xbox 360 collection, which I don't really seem to find a lot of quality games for, which is kind of weird to say because I had one back in the day, but I never really see like really like decent games out in the wild for it, which is kind of strange. You'd think that you would at this point, but then you can see my PS2 collection along the second to last shelf here all the way down to there. And then again, PS2 and just like miscellaneous stuff. So there's like some long box PS1 games, there's a couple of Sega CD games there, and just that kind of general idea, and then like Atari boxed things. Then in the middle of the room here, and there's probably a little bit of glare, is my little gaming table that I've set up here. You can see my pickups from the last video there, still sitting there, but yeah, it's a little custom design one from NES type advertisements. So I basically went all NES on it, and then I put like different advertisements on it and decoupage the whole thing. Turned out pretty well. I'm pretty pleased with it. It's gonna probably stay in my game room. Gotta walk around some stuff here, but let me get in closer. This is the second kind of shelf here beside the one I just showed you, and that's like all my NES stuff, all my loose NES stuff, and like DS stuff down at the bottom. And then over here is something really cool if you haven't really thought of this before. If you check this out, this is a tape holder that, you know, like old style cassette tape holder, and it's great for loose Genesis carts. I mean, look at the way that that sits. It looks pretty awesome right up there. Sits nice and snug, and I just screwed that thing right into the wall because it had a couple of mounting holes in it, and then you can see like Famicom games, and that's a Japanese Genesis game, but I think it might be a reproduction or something, I'm not sure. But yeah, so there's that. And then my Super Nintendo collection, it's pretty large. Super Famicom, which is great on the Retron 5 because you can do the language patches and all that with it. And then also your N64 collection, which I've like weeded down. At the very bottom of this, you can see some Game Boy games, which I do have some more Game Boy games on those rolling shelves I showed before. These are just like the ones that are, you know, a little more valuable or a little more high-end or more obscure. I keep in these cases right here. And then as you turn here, you can see the boxed Nintendo systems. I don't know if I got enough light up there for you to really see this right now, but yeah, so you can see like there's a Super Nintendo, N64, the original NES. Yeah, so pretty cool. And then like a bunch of little box miscellaneous things, Game Boy Advance systems and some amiibos and whatnot. And then on the shelves here, I've just got on display some of the retro consoles. Kind of cool. And then over on this side, I've got the Xbox. Let me see if I can get some light over here for you on this. I don't know if I can, but not very good. But yeah, there's a couple of Xboxes here. And then over on this side, I have my PlayStation 1 collection and I'm trying to shine some light directly on it because this corner is notoriously dark because there's no light over here. But I mean, you can see it when you're looking at it. Normally it's just with the camera. You kind of need this. And then Dreamcast collection, PS3 collections down below that. So you can see all that there. A few Genesis games down there because they didn't fit on my Genesis shelf, which is right beside this. But first, at the very top here, you've got boxed NES games, and then Super Nintendo boxed games, a small collection of Master System games right here, and then all my Genesis games as well, except for my loose ones which were over on that other thing. Then you can just see, like, I don't know if you can actually see this because it's so dark on the floor right now, but it's just the PC I use for streaming and that kind of setup right there, little cameras and whatnot. And yeah, so that's the overview of my game room, and I'm going to get more specific into what's on these shelves in the future here when I do collection videos. As I'm taking these things and unboxing them up for moving, I'll be doing that. So that's everything I got for you this time around. Thanks again for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Feel free to comment down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Please feel free to thumbs up this video, and I will see you all later.